Nothing that she did would ever warrant the response of abuse that the cops end up getting called for. Despite the fact that there might be some validity to some of the things that he's saying before the screaming, it all dies once he gets so disproportionate. He starts abusively screaming at this woman. And I think that if you ever had the take that she was this deep-seated manipulator, that you're probably somebody that's so brain broken that you shouldn't be giving any type of commentary on relationships.
What are your thoughts on Rose Malay?
Even talking about her right now, in my opinion, is giving her too much energy, so...
What about Liam Donovan? Any thoughts on him?
I have no idea who Liam Donovan is, honestly.
What Pokemon are you? Like, what's your Pokemon?
The interviewers in the chats, I can't believe you asked somebody who's here talking about her abusive relationship, about YouTube drama, about Rose Malay and Lyrics, who is now Ray Donovan or whatever the fuck his name is. No real conversation about what the abuse typically looked like. No conversation trying to like explore the depth of it, how consistent the abuse is, what, you know, anything. But we definitely know Pokemon that is, so that's good. All right, so apparently this was released alongside of, I think alongside of like the 1.5 minute Brad Taste in Music like clip, and I never saw it, and so I want to look at it now. This is the complete audio release of his abuse. So I'm curious about it because the minute or so that we saw was really bad, but I'm curious about the rest of it. So let's just see what we got here.
My own head. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Literally, while I'm brushing my dogs, I'm just thinking. And you are asking me what I'm thinking about and not letting me not tell you. You are not letting me have privacy in my own...
So foolish.
Like, that's literally what just happened. Like, I'm sitting here brushing my dog.
Tina, I'm gonna fill up a bowl. You do whatever it is you usually do.
God,
And we'll take it from there.
I'm brushing my dogs.
Yep.
And you think that you are entitled to know what is happening in my brain. And you are not.
I'm just right and you're lying. But go on.
What am I lying about? Can you tell me if you're going to accuse me of lying? Can you tell me what I'm lying about? What am I lying about?
What are you thinking about?
It sounds like they're both worked up, and it sounded like he did try to disconnect and go, you do what you're doing, I'm going to go fill up the dog bowl, and she's keeping the conversation going. She's the one recording, so there's always the possibility. There's always the possibility of some kind of potential deception, I suppose, there, where she could potentially be riling him up. The reason I'm not really too keen on believing that, which, by the way, maybe that'll change, is because he said that he would get angry at her consistently. And so based on what he's told us, based on the fact that this audio didn't release his word, because the only reason this audio was released was because he wouldn't stop talking about it publicly, and he was going up, he put a new video up, he took it down, blah, blah, blah. It's more likely that, like, yeah, he had more abusive tendencies, and that this was, like, more justifiable on her part. I think she's recording not out of, like, a way to set him up, but more out of a way to just almost protect herself. But I could be wrong. We're going to keep watching all of it.
I'm lying about what I'm thinking about.
Yep.
And you know that how?
Because I just know. Because I've been with you for 5 years.
Because you just know that I'm lying at what I'm thinking about.
And that could be valid. I know when my wife's lying, and she knows when I'm lying about stuff, so that could be, there could be a level of validity there. Or he could just be a fucking asshole.
It's been with me for 5 years.
I've actually had to deal with your shit.
So you got to deal with my shit for 5 years, so you know exactly what I'm thinking about.
Now you're going to throw it on to me. Oh, but I've had to deal with your shit. And look at you, Nia. You're full of shit.
So, okay, so I'm sorry. So
You're full of shit.
so you accuse me of lying. What am I lying about? You still haven't, like, outright said what I'm lying about. If you're going to call me a liar, then...
How about you tell me, Tina?
So...
I mean, he probably should tell her.
Much.
So what I'm going to tell you is that I'm not lying about anything. I'm sitting here...
Start with telling me one thing you have lied about. What have you lied to me about, Tina?
I think we saw this, or is this the beginning of the entire interaction? I don't know what minute or so we saw.
What have I lied to you about?
So I can think of times where you have mistakenly lied.
Well, it's not really a lie then.
Yeah.
I've said you've lied, and no matter what I've said, you wouldn't accept that you lied to me. So you're a liar, and you can't accept it.
So if someone...
Which is the worst combination
Well,
I think I've ever witnessed in a partner.
So if someone unknowingly says something that isn't true, where they don't know,
and they can't accept when somebody corrects them, then they're full of shit.
So it's,
I would need to know the specific example.
And when somebody can't listen when their partner tells them, and actually just deflects it and makes their life hell, then that's fucked up. And then you're a terrible lying partner who's emotionally abusive.
So if you
do you want to continue?
So if you say something to me, if I say something...
No, if you want to be combative, we can continue being combative because clearly you are not paying enough attention to this conversation.
I'm just trying to understand. So if
How about you stop doing what...
She is being combative, but that's okay. Like, it's okay to be combative as long as you're proportionately combative to the way the situation demands you to be.
You're doing with the dogs. Look them in the eyes and just tell me the truth, Tina.
What's the truth about what?
You tell me.
Okay. So, if
Without being a sarcastic bitch, look at me in the fucking eyes and tell me the truth.
So I have...
In the eyes, Tina!
Accidentally lied to you before. Well, I have, like, mistakenly given you...
Tina.
See, this is the part where it's already starting to get riled up. Like, it's already starting to get disproportionately riled up. He's not meeting her. He's getting aggressive with her because she's not looking at him in the eyes. I don't see that as a valid reason for him to start escalating and screaming at her and demanding to look in your eyes. And I don't see that as a valid escalation.
Sorry, I've mistakenly given you incorrect information, and I don't... Mistakenly giving incorrect information is not lying. And
that's true.
And I am certain.
So that's not an example then. Try again. An example where you lied to me.
Why don't you give her the example? And I understand that as like a... Listen, this might be a guy thing. I might have said this in a little bit about... As a guy, it's like hard. I don't really remember every example of everything. I feel like my wife will remember times where I, like, you know, done things to her, but I can't remember examples. And it doesn't mean that they're huge things. So, it's hard to have examples off the top of your head as a man. Or maybe this is me projecting, but as a guy, I don't like compartmentalize every negative thing I have with my wife or remember it. I feel like women just actively remember these things better. I don't really know why. And so for me to try to force myself to remember feels weird too, because it's like, okay, my wife did this thing. Like, what am I supposed to hold on to it, write it down on a piece of paper? That's really passive aggressive. You know, you're better off expressing it in the moment and trying to resolve that issue in the moment. But
I don't know that I took the dogs out and I hadn't yet.
When?
I don't know. At some point, I was like, "Yep, doing it right now," and then I didn't do it for another half an hour or something.
So you lied to me and you didn't even remember it.
what?
You don't even remember
A white
any
lie
details
about the dogs that I took care of.
So it meant nothing to you. Just a little white lie about the dogs.
I'm saying I'm sure that it's
You're so
happened.
used to throwing white lies at me.
What's the white lie?
Well, then try again. An example where you lied to me.
Why doesn't he give her an example?
I don't know that I took the dogs out and I hadn't yet.
When?
I don't know. At some point, I was like, "Yep, doing it right now," and then I didn't do it for another half an hour or something.
So you lied to me and you didn't even remember it. You don't even remember
a white
any
lie
details
about the dogs that I took care of.
So it meant nothing to you. It just...
So here's my thing from my experience. It's valid for him to be upset by this because, like, I've been in situations, especially with like the bigger pictures. Apparently she's not working. He is working. He's taking care of everything. Maybe he feels like she's being lazy. And I've been in situations where, like, my partners, the task for my partner was very bare minimum. They didn't have exactly the highest requirement of things to do, but they would still manage to not do them, and it was frustrating. It was things like, you know, they would go grocery shopping. I would work and do everything, and all they really had to do was like maybe go grocery shopping, and they would come home and they wouldn't take all the groceries in, you know, or they would like leave garbage on the floor of the car. And they would do like little things, and it was frustrating because those were the only things that they were expected to do, and then they would like lie about them. And so it's valid to be frustrated by this and worked up by this. It doesn't make it valid for you to have a disproportionate response, though.
Just a little white lie about the dogs.
I'm saying I'm sure that it's happened.
You're so used to throwing white lies at me, you don't even recognize this
No,
one?
that's not true. I just don't...
God, there's so many white lies, Tina. It's like, if they're all white lies...
She was running his channel according to her story. According to his, she was doing nothing but laying around, smoking weed and screaming while he was trying to stream. Well, what does running your channel mean? Can you show where they said that? But what does running a channel mean? You know, like, I don't know exactly what that means. Was she doing all the titles, thumbnails, and shit, or what was she doing?
then none of them are, right?
I don't know. That's not true. I just don't.
God,
Sorry,
there's so many white lies, Tina. It's like, if they're all white lies, then none of them are, right?
I have no idea what that means.
I don't. What am I lying to you about? I don't know what you're telling me I'm lying to you about. What's happening in my own brain? That's not fair. It's my own brain. You're not entitled to know that.
Well, it does sound, if these things are true, she does sound like she is making these little white lies.
I'm an individual. If I don't have a safe place within my own head.
Yeah, and Tina's story, Brad was basically the bum. Okay.
Okay, Tina, I'm your partner of 5 years, and if you don't respect me as an individual, then you can, honest to God, get the fuck out of my house.
So far, he's kind of valid here, I think. Not maybe the get out of the house is a little too much, but like not. I mean, listen, this is my relationship with my wife for like 6 years altogether. You're not really allowed to have, and at least this is for us. We don't. Well, it's not even about being allowed to. We don't have independent thoughts in our head. Like we tell each other everything, and we express everything to each other, especially in a relationship capacity. Like I'm sure that there's things in her head, in my head, that we don't tell each other because they're like different. Like, you know, if there's things in my head about fucking video games, I'm not going to express those to my wife necessarily. Although sometimes I will info dump on my wife about things that I'm excited about. And same thing with her. She's reading like books like Akatar, fucking Gunnar shit. And she tells me about it. But like when it comes to a relationship thing, like if you're having a frustration or an issue with a partner, like you should be expressing it. And so far, like his anger is valid. It sounds valid. But like we're not, and we want to see that. But like the explosion, that's like a bigger problem, isn't it?
Both of our names are on the lease, so that's not going to happen. And also, you are not
I'm going to call the police.
Yeah,
I will get you out of here. I will make a story up. I will get you out of here, Tina.
Obviously, this is stupid.
Our names are on the lease, so you will not be doing that. And
I will.
You don't think he's being truthful at all, and he's constantly disrespectful, so she needs to leave. You need to leave, but not before. I don't know. So far, I'm seeing somewhat validity. It's not even like she's contesting him. She's acknowledging. She's acknowledging that she gave like a little white lie. She might not realize how frustrating it might be if what he's saying is correct, that there's constant little white lies. But I think that so far his frank frustration is valid.
I'll say my partner has been emotionally abusive, and I've asked her to leave many times. And despite the fact that I have no support system, she has refused to leave and has continued to emotionally abuse me. I need her to get out for at least a day. I need space, and she refuses.
It's fair that he wants a day of space, but like you guys live together, this is both your house. Even if she wasn't on the lease, kicking her out of the house because you need a day is ridiculous. Leave yourself. In the same way where he's probably thinking, this is my house, I shouldn't have to be the one to leave. She should. This is her house as well. You've decided to go both in on the lease. And if you're not willing to respect that, that sounds to me like because he's paying, he feels like he has control over the house. That's not how it works. You have a relationship contract, and whatever you're doing may not be followed exactly. She might be being kind of lazy in some instance, but you don't get to dictate that she has to leave the house, that she is in the relationship contract still engaging with you, and then also on the actual lease. So you leave. You leave. Go take a drive. Get a hotel for the night. You exit the house yourself.
Can you please escort my partner somewhere else?
But the problem too, and that's in context that we have to keep in mind, which is something that I didn't necessarily keep in mind at the start, so sorry about that, is that he was arrested, I believe, after this incident for domestic abuse. So clearly the escalation was rather high.
So that I can have some mental peace. That's what I'm going to tell him.
That's so...
I'm going to call him.
Okay.
You done?
Am I allowed
You fucking done.
Can I just need to know, I'll give you peace if I'm allowed to be quiet. Am I allowed to be quiet? Or do I have to share what's going on in my brain?
Wow.
I mean, that is a valid question.
So, now that you actually know that you need to be quiet, it's also my fault.
Can I be quiet?
Can you stop blaming me for shit?
Can I be quiet without you prying about what's going on? What I'm thinking.
Can you stop?
This could be a valid question. I guess it's possible that she's trying to be standoffish in a way. I don't think that that's what it is, though. I mean, I guess she could be just trying to be like, oh, can I be quiet? Can I be quiet? But it sounds more like he's been pressing her for the past however long, I guess 5 minutes according to this clip, about saying exactly what she how she's feeling, and now he's pressing her to just stop talking. And so we're kind of back and forth here.
Stop being a horrific partner. Can you look at me in the eyes? Can you treat me like a person? Can you treat me like someone who's at your level and not someone who you can manipulate?
I don't know that.
He really should have just left. Okay. Somebody said, and I don't think I quite understand this concept. I mean, it's not super complicated, but that they might be gray rocking the girl. A tactic used to minimize interactions with emotionally manipulative or toxic individuals by becoming emotionally unresponsive and unengaging, like a gray rock. I mean, that makes sense, though. I've just never heard of the concept before, so I obviously have to think on it for a moment.
You are evil.
It's also important to keep in context that he seems to be having a legitimate, I think it was an alcohol addiction. So
Just want to have peace in my brain.
yeah, maybe the reason she's not engaging is just to like dial down the temperature in the room. Because if he's emotionally provocative and he has a history of being emotionally provocative, and he said in his own video that like he would yell at her a lot, but that's just the way he communicated, which indicates to me that he's doing stuff within the realm of this consistently. She might have just learned, hey, hey, I'm just not going to respond at all emotionally, because if it just will potentially rile him up.
You will destroy me. You will do anything.
I just want to be able to think quietly while I brush my dogs. I just want to be able to quietly reflect on my life while I
Now she's getting emotionally worked up, which is fine. It's just, I guess the gray rock thing is not there.
brush my dogs without you asking what I'm thinking about and prying it out of me.
Maybe it was before that.
And thinking you're entitled to know what I'm thinking about. You're not.
I'm not even your partner, Tina.
You're not treating me like a partner.
You're looking around looking for excuses, Tina. I literally am watching your body
I
language.
can't look in your
You
eyes.
look like one of those freaks on the fucking interrogation videos.
I can't look in your
Every single thing you're doing is full of shit.
No.
You're literally acting like the fucking criminals there, Tina. Like every action. I could record it. And it would be like, Tina's looking to the left while immediately, oh, he asks a question and her eyes are moving around as she's looking.
I mean, maybe there's some... This is the problem. I guess if you want... Maybe he's telling the truth. I don't really trust his interpretation of reality, though. Especially based on the way that he's consistently interacted with almost everything that we've seen in this drama. I don't trust that he knows what the fuck he's talking about. At all. Because right now what's happening is like, hey, he's basically expressing like, oh, you're basically part of a true crime and you seem to be interacting in a certain way. And I don't know if I believe that, because then like what you're going to get out of that is that, I don't know if he knows that this is being recorded, but that this recording is somehow just fake. I don't know. It seems more like this is something that happens consistently, which he's admitted, and she wants to have a recording of it because it's fucked up and she wants to have it for some kind of potential issue for the police or something. And the fact that she didn't want to come forward with this in the first place, and she only did because he made like 5 videos about this situation, communicates to me that she wasn't trying to do this to ruin his life. She was just doing this as like a stay of protection.
Looking quickly for
I
an
have
answer.
trouble with eye
because she has no.
contact.
Oh no, you don't,
Yes,
Tina.
I do.
You are a lying, manipulative person,
I have trouble.
and you need to get out of my house.
I have trouble with eye contact. I do.
I am going to call the cops if you don't stop lying to me, Tina. Right now.
Yeah, that's what the cops are for. Somebody's lying to.
This is it. Are you
What
done?
am I lying about?
All right.
What am I lying to you about?
All right.
All right. So far, not a great expression from Brad here. But if he left at this point, it wouldn't be too bad. It would just be like kind of a somewhat toxic interaction. If he just left. If he was like, I'm leaving now.
Well, you gotta hide the weed.
Right, I remember this part.
Right, they're not gonna. We're both on the lease. That doesn't work.
Yeah, it does. I'm gonna say my partner is emotionally abusing me, and I've asked for space endlessly, and I have no support system. I moved out here for her, and I'm trapped, and I need space. She has her mother's house.
So then leave.
I need
My
help.
mom is not. You can't push me out of my own.
You are one of my abusers, so I can damn
Did that just like cut?
fucking right do that to you.
where? I just want to know what the cut is in.
Space endlessly.
There's like a cut
and I
here.
have no support system. I moved out here for her, and I'm trapped, and I need space. She has her mother's house. I need help.
My mom is not. You can't push me out of my own house.
You are one of my.
Yeah, it cuts there. I wish we knew it was in the cut. There's a little bit of an issue here with this cut. I wonder what is it that we're missing here. Did we see this in the original audio? Because I don't like. What's the cut here?
My abuser, so I can damn fucking right do that to you. I can kick you the fuck out of here for what the fuck you've done to me. You've destroyed me.
What? How? All I've ever wanted to do is support
Stop lying to me for once. Look at me in the eyes and stop lying to me. Stop being such a wimp.
All I've ever
Look at.
Nothing that he's even communicated to us so far would even express that she was abusive to him. So far, all we really have is she's fucking lazy. So, is it private mom stuff? Oh, okay, I mean, that would be valid.
Me and accept what you have done to me. Do you see what I've become? You've killed me. You promised me everything. You lied to me.
What did I promise?
Look at me in the fucking eyes and say that again. Look at me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me what the fuck you just said. Tell me. Get out of my
I
house.
promised you.
Get out of my fucking house.
I promise you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
You're blind. I'm
Don't.
You are evil. Like you're evil.
I don't.
Oh, the audio stopped for a second. Yeah, it seems like the audio stopped and the rest of this is just like the video is like kind of corrupted or whatever. Listen, man, all I have to say is after watching through that, it's very clear that there's an interaction between both of them where they're both in the wrong. You know, she seems to be, I don't know. Listen, I don't even care. Listen, not for nothing, but the fact that this guy starts yelling and screaming, there's no justifier for that. Nothing that she did would ever warrant the response of abuse that the cops end up getting called for. And all I really have to say is, despite the fact that there might be some validity to some of the things that he's saying and the way that he's expressing himself, originally before the screaming, it all dies once he gets so disproportionate. He starts abusively screaming at this woman. And I think that if you ever had the take that she was this deep-seated manipulator, that you're probably somebody that's so fucking idiot brain broken that you shouldn't be giving any type of commentary on relationships. That's it. All right, I'm curious about this here, the interview with Brad Taste's ex. So let's watch it, man. It's from Purple Parry Gaming. Incredible stuff. Do they do a lot of gaming? What a great start.
Get out of my house.
Triggering my PTSD right now, guys. I don't have PTSD. It's just like such a fucked up moment.
Fucking house.
Like, what's that like? You hear like, get out of my house. It's like there's a clap. Is that Brad? I mean, Tina, I guess you're here, right? Oh, also, Tina, you know, I did offer you if you wanted to like call. Oh, you're
This guy's microphone is horrible. What is going on here?
calling me. Oh, hi, Tina. Hi, Tina. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So I was just going through this this again.
Yeah.
You see the part where it's like he goes, tell sorry, I'm interrupting you, you were saying?
No, you're fine. I just said the worst
This is a bit of a mess.
audio that anyone's ever heard.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me put this on the screen for you guys. Not that there's much to see, but my bad. There you go. Sorry.
Fucking literally one of the worst moments of my entire life.
I could imagine.
But you said this was like,
I'm curious about how often something like this would happen, because he said it would happen a lot. So I'd like to know that what her her response is to that. Or he said that he'd yell a lot. I'm kind of curious about what that meant in her eyes.
like a daily occurrence, or was this like a very uniquely I guess fucked up one for Brad?
So Yeah, I mean, this was probably, I would
I
say,
think he just asked that question. It's just hard to hear his mic. He really should get a better one. I have a Samson Q2U. That's what it is, Mike. So I would just recommend, especially if you want to make content, if that's your number one thing as a content creator, is you should really have like a good audio. People are fine with shitty video generally, but bad audio is like a no-go.
the like most severe or like the most scared I ever was. I mean, that
makes
screaming
sense.
was 1 inch from my face. And
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't even remember saying like, don't do it, don't do it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I was actually wondering that. Was it like self-harm in some capacity? That's what I kind of assumed it was.
But the way I describe it is like my brain and my body did not know that I was not about to get hit.
That's why I wanted to ask.
I mean, that makes sense when somebody's screaming at you, even if that person doesn't necessarily have intentions of hurting you. You know, I mean, they're screaming in your face. You have no idea what they're capable of. You know, and I understand, because I've been angry and I've yelled, but it's scary. It's like for the yeller, it's not scary. You're fucking yelling. You know, you have control of the situation, whether you're in know it or not. But it's fucking terrifying, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Because it seems like he's saying, "Tell me," and then there's like a clap noise. Was that him? Like making that?
But also, this is stupid. But I'm pretty sure Brad's dad was like an absentee father, so like he probably never got yelled at before. I didn't either. So you know what I mean? I guess he didn't know what it's like to be fucking yelled at by a grown ass man.
No, do you know what that is? Do you have any memory?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Like, all I can remember, I mean, I have, like, I'm probably going to cry on this call. I'm just letting you know. It's, like,
That makes sense.
very,
Oh, all right. Well, there's no problem. I mean, if you
yeah,
don't want,
yeah,
if you want to,
And it makes sense because like part of one of the questions I think people are going to have, which I think is a fair question, is like, why are you doing this? But I think the answer is probably because he's talked about this so much publicly, and then she wants to have the opportunity to kind of talk about it from her perspective. He won't shut the fuck up about it, you know? So maybe that's what she wants. She just wants to be able to have a conversation and express herself about what was going on.
leave it to any points, go ahead. It's no problem.
yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for being respectful. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's, you know, talking about it and trying to remember details just brings me, of course, like right back to like how I was feeling. And I was genuinely just so scared. I remember just shaking, really, really hard. And yeah, he was, like I said, 1 inch away from my face. I was covered in his spit. Like he was yelling so loud that as he was yelling, he was spitting. And when I ran away from him and closed and locked the door behind me,
Okay.
my face was, I mean, obviously I was crying, but also like I felt the spit landing on my face as he was screaming at me. And
What the hell is this on the stream? What does this guy have? Like he has what is this, a suspension on his stream for participating in fake engagement? What is this from? What what is this guy? Seems like it's just doing stupid Twitch stuff. It doesn't even matter. Using third-party services. Okay. Rebroadcasting VODs or doing follow for follow stuff. Okay. Farm Twitch drop. Whatever. Okay.
I had no idea what he was going to do because
seems like a non-issue. So
he
specifically whatever that is seems like a non-issue. Like the fucking thing from Twitch, whatever.
I can share with you that he did like one time. Well, so it was a lot of like punching holes in doors.
Oh, so there was physical violence, just not towards you, sort of, right?
Correct, right. So like in our first apartment that we were in from 2020 to what was it, like June of 2022. It was like August of 2020 to June of 2022. We lived in our first apartment. He broke the bathroom door in that apartment, and while we were living there, most of the time he was on weed, and that's always when he had like more trouble controlling his emotions.
Really, weed was what got him?
So he would really escalate, and there were some screaming.
Was it like paranoia or something? Aren't there different strains of weed that you can engage in so that you don't have like this insane paranoia? I don't understand.
Like
weed
screaming like you heard in that audio. There were like outbursts like that in that first apartment back in 2020, 2021. And then he quit weed in August of 2021. Because you know he was.
That's fucking crazy that weed would do this to you.
He was very public about struggling with it. He was making videos about it, talking about how, you know, he was going through psychosis and stuff because of weed.
I mean, I guess that makes sense depending on the strain, but what the fuck, weed? Really? You know what I mean? Like, of all things?
And like going on like antipsychotics and things like that. So he did quit weed in August of 2021. And so, you know, his baseline, like I've gathered now that basically it's like narcissistic abuse. It's like a specific type of like emotional abuse.
Oh, maybe I would have no idea about diagnosing it specifically. Narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional abuse characterized by manipulation and control tactics used by an individual with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, or narcissistic traits. It involves a pattern of behaviors designed to undermine the victim's self-worth, create confusion, and maintain power. I mean, maybe. I don't really know. I'm not a mental health professional. I would hope, the only thing I would hope is that she got this from a mental health professional and not from some friend who looked it up on the internet, because I would question the validity of this pseudo-diagnosis, unless it's like an official diagnosis. I'm just like very apprehensive about like these things. It was abusive, but like narcissistic personality disorder, it may be. I don't know. I really just don't know. It's possible. I just don't know. I just want to be clear for me, like hey, I don't know if it's true. You know,
he still was that way. Still is this. You know, he was the same person without the weed, but there weren't as many like explosive moments.
Okay.
But yeah, there.
I guess I'm curious about how was he off the weed? Like, were there good moments in their relationship? Like, how was he? You know, saying that the weed exacerbated his issues, like that makes sense to me. But like, what was he? Was he a shitty boyfriend? Like, what's the relationship with him? You know, paying for stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I'm curious about the other stuff.
There was a lot of, you know, basically, in a nutshell, if I came to him and said, "Hey, this thing that you said or did, like, is hurting my feelings or hurt my feelings," it gets like projected back onto me, and suddenly I'm like having to apologize for something, and just trying to kind of calm him down and de-escalate, because there's like a complete
keep going
inability.
into a screaming match. She would keep escalating, not like hear your side or whatever.
Exactly.
So is that what happened? Like before you?
Maybe. I mean, like, again, I don't really know. So, like, he's youngish, right? He's like 20. How old is he now? She's probably also young. I think she's like a year older than him. She's 20. Yeah, he's 25 now. So I don't know how long ago this interaction was. I think it was like a year ago. So let's say he's 24, 23, and she's around the same age. These things could be true. One of the hard things too is that, like, I'm not sure how confident I am that she, like, just as a person, that she necessarily, like, maybe he had valid criticism. I don't know. Like, my thing is that, like, from what we saw, it seems that and I don't know exactly what his problem is, but it seems that he thinks that she does like a lot of little white lies, and she might not do enough in the house. If he's the one, you know, making the money and paying for everything, and she's like hanging out, he might have like a resentment for her not doing enough in the house. And so when she says she's going to take the dog out but doesn't take the dog out, it feels like a white lie, and there might be something there where she's like lazy. I don't really know. So I don't really know the validity of his things. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't justify him being like verbally abusive to her in any capacity. But I don't know how much of it's like that I'm going to be like, oh, this is definitely true. You know what I mean?
Decided to record here is that he was like continuing to escalate, and I guess this time he decided to record it.
That makes sense.
So he was. I'll say so. He was off of weed from August 2021 to June of 2024. That's
a good point. He doesn't. He just expects her to know what the lies are and doesn't say what they are. That's a good point too, because let's say that she is doing a lot of little white lies. Maybe she's not aware of it, right? Like, you know, that they're both they're both emotionally immature. Maybe she doesn't even realize she's being kind of lazy. Maybe to her, it's like, you know, let's just give like a scenario. Let's say it's true that she doesn't really doing anything and she's kind of like lazy or whatever. And like she's like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, and then she doesn't do it for like an hour or two, or half an hour or an hour, and that's something that bothers Brad, which is valid for it to bother him. Maybe she doesn't think it's a big deal. Which maybe it's not a big deal. That's really about like your relationship boundaries. You know, maybe it is a big deal, maybe it's not. It's really just like a boundary thing. And so like if he's like, oh, you said you're going to do this thing, could you please do it now? Like, I think that's generally valid. But if she's waiting a half an hour, maybe it's just because she doesn't really think it matters. And maybe it doesn't, maybe it does. That's a conversation you have to have. You can't scream at somebody because they don't agree with you about, like, you know, whether you should be getting right on it when it comes to whatever chore, you know, is being done. So we don't, you know, again, there's so much here, and it's between two people that are probably emotionally immature because they're younger. You know, maybe I'm projecting partially because, like, it took me a while to mature, you know. I still had to find the right person too, so I had to like be aware of my shitty tendencies. But that's a part too, that there's, when he's talking, there's this malicious aspect he's tying onto it. We don't know if there's like a malicious aspect to it, or if it's just or if it's just something happening. You know what I mean? So we can't just assume she's being malicious and like, oh well, I'm gonna lie to Brad. I'm going to lie about when I'm going to do the dishes to Brad because I want to fuck with him. You know what I mean? I have not seen, I am very doubtful of that. Very doubtful of that happening.
We're in LA for the H3 live show. And so we were living in Wisconsin, him and I. Weed is not legal there. But we were in LA. Obviously, weed's legal in California.
Okay.
And I at my Airbnb with my friend.
What the fuck was he doing weed? If it would, doing weed, why was he doing it though? If it would like feed his paranoia, like what was he getting out of it? Usually it's like a calming effect. Like what was he getting out of it if it's increasing his paranoia?
I was gonna smoke a joint. It had been so long, since Brad had weed, and things kind of had been a little bit more calm. Though Airbnb with my friends, I was gonna smoke a joint. It had been so long, since Brad had weed, and things kind of had been a little bit more calm. Though it was never a healthy relationship, and there were other issues going on throughout the time that he was off of weed too. But
sure.
He expressed that he wanted to smoke with us, and this was like at the end of June of last year. And I checked in with him like 3 or 4 times before he did it. I was like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure?"
I mean, he's a grown man; he can make his own decisions. He shouldn't be smoking weed. I will say, and like they're not. Relationship level wise, they're obviously not like the same as a married couple or anything, but I would say that if your partner has an addiction, you probably should stay away from doing that addiction and around that person in any capacity. So if my wife is like if she was an alcoholic, I wouldn't drink alcohol around my wife, you know what I mean? So I would say that, and that doesn't make her a bad person. I would just say that you should try to be on the same page with your partner and be supportive, and that's what that would look like in that instance.
Are you sure? He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing better now. I want to try it." And he actually did okay with the weed, when he was in California. But then all that H3 stuff happened.
Oh yeah.
And Ethan was posting stories to his Instagram. Like he was posting Instagram stories, calling Brad out for kind of backtracking and throwing Ethan under the bus. As we were in the shuttle at LAX and like going through security, I'm like in tears because Ethan's making these posts to like his over 1 million followers on Instagram. And we got home. I mean, Brad was just like spiraling.
I don't know what it looked like, the post that Ethan was making, but what I will say is that honestly, if you want to like associate with Ethan and be like friendly with him, you just got to be ready for a little pettiness. You know what I mean? I like Ethan; he's fine, it's cool, but he's a petty motherfucker. He covers drama with the drama energy. You know what I mean? So he's he's got that petty energy. You kind of got to be ready if to accept that. It comes with the territory there.
Then, and we got home, and he got weed and basically kept smoking. So we got home early July of last year, and by August 31st, that's when he got arrested. So it was literally 2 months of him being high all day every day.
Like this, right? And
yes,
were you also high at the time and
freaky.
like on the couch or whatever? Or is that like complete projection, or you're like?
Oh yeah, so no, I'll say that like Brad, I had to do literally everything for him. Packing like every trip that we went on, I had to pack every suitcase for him.
That's the same with my wife and me.
Every like doctor's appointment, grocery shopping.
I usually set my own appointments, but I like it when my wife does it, to be honest with you.
Any housework. I mean, over the years, even when I was working full time as a medical assistant, I would come home from my 10-hour shifts and, the house would be a mess or whatever. And he would have been like, high, playing video games all day. And like, I basically was always completely alone in pretty much every aspect. Like it was not a partnership at all.
Okay. I mean, that's valid. That is valid. I would wonder though, how was it once they decided to be like a stay-at-home girlfriend or whatever? because I think that it's obviously shitty to put the majority of work onto somebody when you're both working an actual job. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, if your relationship boundaries have changed and you're the one that's expected to take care of the housework, I mean, like, I don't really care as much anymore. If it's like, yeah, I don't work, I take care of the house and shit, and my partner does the job, like, whatever, that's a fine split. So I guess I'm curious about if she's upholding her end of the bargain. I just want to be absolutely clear. I'm not saying that if she's not, she deserves to get screamed at. That doesn't justify it at all. I'm just saying that I am curious about that.
And there
He
were
was
many
saying
times
he
where I
was like
came to him.
paying you like 5,000. Was that under the understanding that you would take care of that stuff though, or what's the?
No.
Uh-huh.
That was. So I'll explain to you how I like kind of what happened. So
I don't understand the 5,000. He said he would give her $5,000 a month. I didn't really understand what that meant.
It sucks that like I have to share such personal stuff, right? To like kind of give context to things,
Yeah.
but it is what it is at this
Mhm.
point. I have something called fibromyalgia, which
I had a partner with fibromyalgia.
is like a chronic pain condition.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
You know what's interesting about it? It's an autoimmune disease. Apparently there's some conversations about how it might be in your head, not in the way where you're making it up, but very interesting.
which unfortunately is like worsened by stress.
Yeah, of course.
So you
Yeah.
can imagine that like every incident of like really intense.
So I had an ex with fibromyalgia, and like our relationship was toxic too. And like especially looking back, I'm not going to sit here and say I was an amazing guy. I think I was shittier at the beginning of the relationship, and then I think that made her feel like she could take advantage of me. There might be a level of validity to it, to be honest with you, But she had fibromyalgia, and it was really tough at first. And then I was getting her like weed, so she would smoke like $120 a month, maybe, or every 3 weeks, plus like 8 massages weekly, like $80 to $100. I forget if it was 80 plus tip or 60 plus tip. This was years ago. And then when she got back into a better spot, she would use it as an excuse then. Like every time we go to a family party of mine, after a half hour, she had to leave. She wasn't feeling well. Or she would just sit in the car, and she was doing it so she could talk to like guys. And we were in an open relationship, but like still that's shitty. She wouldn't work. She took her 7 years to go from an associate's degree to like a bachelor's degree. Stuff like that. And I'm not saying she's doing that. I'm just letting you know my reality with dating somebody with fibromyalgia. It's valid. It is painful. But I'm just letting you know about that as we talk about it, just to be fully concise and clear,
Emotions and abuse led me to
and
like
a lot of it was to play video games. She played video games a lot. So
flare, which is
like I think she had like a legitimate video game addiction.
basically full body pain.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was just so exhausted. I was working 40 hours a week in healthcare, busted.
Also, my understanding is like fibromyalgia manifests later in life, so it's not even something that you're necessarily going to like have immediately. At least that's how it happened with her. Like my ex
In my butt, and I would come home and have made like
but you got to make sure you keep moving productively. Go for walks and stuff. I'm not saying fucking go crazy, but just keep moving, or else you're gonna fuck yourself.
after taxes, working as a medical assistant, I probably would come home with like $180 for a day of 10 hours of hard work.
Okay.
Skip like not even getting lunch breaks, whatever. And I would come home. I made $180 that day, and Brad is like, "Oh, I streamed and made $3,000 today." And so,
Okay.
it was to the point where the
Imagine making $3,000 on a fucking stream.
doctor that I got hired to work for, I worked with her for 3.5 years. She was moving out of state, and it was getting to be cold out, which makes my pain worse. Basically, it was getting to the point where I would wake up
That
in the
makes
morning
sense.
and just, like also being, abused and neglected in my relationship and just like treated like shit. I was just exhausted. And Brad came in and was like, for a couple months, was telling me like, just work with me. Like he's like, I make so much money. It just doesn't even like make sense anymore for you to go to work. And the doctor that I loved working for moved away. My pain was getting worse. And like,
it's funny, there's like a lot of comparison, because when I was with my ex, like I was like, oh, why don't you, she was working part-time and she was in pain and all that, so I was like, oh, why don't you work with me? You can make like thumbnails and then you can make my thumbnails, and they were like really low effort thumbnails, but then you could also maybe do some like my video editing, edit the first 5 minutes down so it's not like there's not like a ton of cursing in it or something, so we can keep our monetization. This was when I was doing YouTube and stuff too, and TikTok, and you know, you could plug my stuff on all these socials, and she started doing that, and she really just you know, it was frustrating because it would take her all day sometimes when I wanted them done pretty quickly, and like the amount of work is like probably 15 minutes of work. Let's be fucking real. She never did the plug stuff. She never would promote my stuff like she said she would, and her thumbnails, like they weren't exactly high effort. I'll show you what they are, and I remember we got into a really big argument one time because she took so long to do them. And I was like, why are you taking you so long? She's like, I edit for you and I do thumbnails for you. It takes me like 8 hours to do it all day. And I'm like, what? And I like believed her at the time. It was very strange. I was like, really? Like, there's no way. Looking back, I realized that she was obviously full of shit. Let me find like one of her earliest thumbnails that she did. These are the quality of the thumbnail. So you look, it's basically a picture and then it's an overlay. Sometimes she would, like, these are the thumbnails she would make. And this would take her all day, and she'd have to watch the first 5 minutes and like pretend like censor any curse words. And these would take her, you know, 5 hours or so, or apparently it'd take her all fucking. And I think it was like her. She was like these are like better examples. I think it was one of those things where she was just the bully ? I think she was like really addicted to video games, and she just, you know, partially didn't want to be around me probably, but it's like, okay, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, you know, she definitely was milking it, yeah, for sure.
Like, on paper, if Brad wasn't who Brad is, it may have been okay, right? But he did need help with his business. I guess I'll give you more background on how I facilitated his business
You're like
over the
his
years.
producer, sort of, right?
Yeah.
You got some connection with the. So I forget their name. Was it the people that he's like saying that you basically like. Oh, Hive Mind, right? You got,
yeah. That came later. That came later, but even like early on in our relationship, you know, Brad was making all of his videos on an old iPhone, and I told him, like, you know, you should get a camera. You are making, you know, enough money here that you can like upgrade your equipment, and like
now we got
every single equipment upgrade.
I'm just looking at like Hive Mind. Like, what is this? I guess they're a podcast or something. I don't really know who these people are. Are they a podcast? I have no fucking idea.
His whole setup, you know, like, I hung his green screen up, like I set up his desk. Everything felt like I can't even like overstate how much I was trying to facilitate his career.
Okay, so just to be clear, like, so far we're hearing that she told him to buy stuff, and then she helped set it up. I mean, it doesn't take that long to set stuff up. You know, I'm more interested in like the consistent work, the consistency of the work.
And then also like the bookkeeping, meeting with an accountant, getting.
Okay, what does that mean? What does bookkeeping mean? I'm going to be very like, I'm going to scrutinize this heavily. I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear. This is nothing. Doesn't matter what happens. The way that he screamed at her is completely inappropriate and abusive. But I am a content creator. And I'd love to know what bookkeeping means, because, like, yes, you need to keep track of the money that you get from YouTube and pay taxes on it. It takes 15 minutes once a month, or excuse me, once every 3 months to do that.
Getting him set up with a financial advisor.
Okay, getting set up with a financial, so like calling a financial advisor, cool. Okay.
Doing his PR, because he would get into messes online all
What does that mean? Doing his PR
the time, and like
my wife helps me with my PR. She gives me advice on stuff. So, like, what does that mean? Like, how this doesn't sound like full-time work, but I should keep letting. I
had texted him being like, "Can you help me? Like, I tweeted this and people are upset," and then I'd have to like try to clean up.
Oh yeah, if I remember, there was like that there's that infamous video where he's like talking about the $200 he owes to somebody, and you're in the background, right, saying like from a friend or whatever. So I guess you were in behind this, helping him behind the scenes deal with that sort of stuff and getting him an accountant, which I thought he would have by that point.
He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to like maintain relationships with anyone. People would reach out to him. He would never respond. And he always had like 100 unread text messages. And so essentially I was his only support. I was like his emotional punching bag, his like, you know, I had to like look out for him. But then also if I advised him, hey, maybe don't post that, he would do it anyways. And then I still would have to be there to help him clean up the mess. So it was genuinely exhausting.
Okay, so I'm trying to be very clear here. It sounds like she did some stuff sometimes. What she's describing isn't like exactly like this profound amount of work. She would help him through potential controversy. Okay, that would happen sometimes. Absolutely, my wife does that too. Sometimes I need somebody to talk to. I don't know what emotional punching bag means. Like, if he would take it out on her, that's obviously terrible. No excuse for that. That's shitty. She would set him up with a financial advisor. That's a phone call. She would help him pay taxes, I guess. Bookkeeping. Okay. Gotcha. So it really sounds like she would help him sometimes, but like not in a way that would require not even an hour's worth of work a day. Like, half of this is just helping him deal with his emotions of being a content creator, which could be draining. I understand that. My wife, it's been draining for my wife. I do understand that. But like, it doesn't sound like she's exactly doing a profound amount of like work, which is okay. That's fine. That's her relationship boundary, but.
And I think it's evident now, seeing like, since he moved back to Arizona and how he's how he's been like, I guess without me, he was relying on me so much in every way, like emotion. I was his only support. I was like,
well, yeah, I mean, he's a certain way now, and he's living with his parents, so it's very clear that, like, as far as being regulated as an independent person, he doesn't seem to be able to manage.
Well, the reason that he's doing worse now is because of this controversy that he's gotten himself into from being a fucking idiot.
That, but so at some point, I guess you agreed that you would be getting paid like $5,000 a month for this.
Yes.
Sorry, that's a tough sell, I think, for most people. Why would you get $5,000 a month for this? That's interesting. I mean, I guess he said $5,000 a month, but he would just give you. It seems. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I can see where some of the issue Brad has come from, or some of the issues that Brad has comes from. I don't know why the fuck you would give somebody $5,000 a month for what she just described is not even worth. It's worth like $200 a month. So it sounds like. I'm starting to see why he developed the resentment. He expressed it incorrectly. It was disgusting the way he did it, but I could see where he started developing the resentment. Yeah,
so he like picked that amount. I think at this time he was probably making 20 to 30K a month. So, and he was so like excited about it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I get to have my girlfriend at home, my fiance. We were engaged for 3.5 years. He's like, I get to have my fiance at home and like hang out with her all day and blah, blah, blah."
I wonder if that was part of the issue that they had. They were around each other too much.
And, I was helping him with stuff. Towards the end,
It's weird that they had a formal amount. I wonder how that came about. I'm just curious, like, how did it come about?
He actually rented an empty, like, commercial space, like a studio. And I was meeting with contractors and planning things.
Why did he rent a studio? For what? Something different? Or?
To have an actual, like, outside of our apartment, an actual, like, office to work in.
Okay.
And everything he just expected me to do it all on my own. It was really...
$5,000 a month, I would too. I'm gonna be fucking real with you.
Like, all that he was capable of doing.
Maybe a percentage. It sounds like they came up with like a specific explicit amount, not like a percentage. That's why
I feel mean saying this, but also fuck that guy. All he was capable of doing was sitting in front of a computer and making a video or streaming.
I'm really starting to understand why the both of them had like a conflict here. Because she's resentful about the fact that he was making a ton of money doing next to nothing, which, by the way, is valid to be frustrated about. But I'm starting to understand where the toxicity in their dynamic came from. It's not from her, just to be clear. I could see where like the both of them are like where it manifests. I'm starting to see where this toxicity starts like manifesting here. Okay.
Anything else that was involved taking care of like himself, taking care of his house, taking care of his business. It did not happen unless I did it. And so it was...
But if you're getting paid like $1,250 a week, that's kind of valid, no?
Like $5,000 a month to literally do everything. And at that point, that's all.
Okay.
Already the weight that I felt, even...
I think that's a lot of money.
While I was working full time.
60,000.
So I'm like, well...
But you said you weren't working. What?
$5,000 a month to literally...
What?
Do everything. And at that point, that's already the weight that I felt, even while I was working full time.
Okay, I think she's saying she felt this weight before when she was working full time, but before she was getting the extra $5,000. Okay.
So I'm like, well, fuck, I might as well just like do this. I can barely get up for work in the morning. I wake up and I feel like I got hit by a bus every day. So, yeah, I agree to that.
I wonder what she's doing now.
And there is some misconception. I mean, people hear $5,000 a month and they're like, holy shit, that's a lot.
It is.
And yes, it is. But out of that, I wasn't technically employed by him. I was like a self-employed like contractor.
Right, there's like self-employment tax, etc., whatever.
Yes.
So that's like the gross
So
and not the net, right?
Exactly.
Yes, you have to pay taxes on your money. True.
So
you
I
have
would
to do
make
the taxes stuff as well.
I would make like an invoice every 2 weeks, and then I would have to literally write that. Like he couldn't even. I'd have to literally write the check because he didn't even like. He wanted to sign it. He wanted to pay me. He made that clear. But then he like, I still had to like, literally do everything except for wipe his ass for him. Like,
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. I don't know. I'm not empathetic to this point. He was paying you what she said was about a quarter of his income to do everything. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of this comes from the fact that she's resentful that he does probably almost nothing for his job. He just goes and streams and fucks around and makes money. And there's a validity to that. And there's also a whole entire other conversation to have about how since like he's really not doing a whole lot of work with his work, he should not be in a situation where he should not be in a situation where he expects her to do all the relationship labor. If this makes sense, right? It sounds like she's being employed. I don't really know that it's difficult because from what she's saying, she does a very little amount of work. Like she pays his taxes for him. She cuts checks for herself and makes him sign it. Like she helped him with a financial advisor. That's nice. Helped with getting a studio. That's nice. Producer, I don't know what that means. I mean, does she make thumbnails for him? It doesn't really sound like she does a lot from what I'm hearing here. She does his bookkeeping. I mean, like you literally just have to keep track of your money and then put money aside for taxes. You get paid once a month on YouTube, so it's like once a month you got to take like 30% of your money or whatever. It doesn't sound like she's doing a whole lot. On the other hand, he's not doing a whole lot, and he is dating a partner with fibromyalgia, so like he should be more sensitive to that and productive with that. And so like just because you make a certain amount of money, that doesn't mean that like that's not an effort necessarily. Like I help my wife around the house and stuff, even though I make a lot more money than my wife, because like we do it effort based. We don't do this based on who makes more money. My wife isn't expected to come home and do like everything because I make more money. That would be ridiculous. So, you know. And also, this is her side of the story, which, and just like I was skeptical of some of the things he was saying, doesn't mean I'm also going to be skeptical of some of the things that she's saying. Just to be clear, right? Like the way that he expressed himself was abusive, so I'm not taking that away. But we're trying to see how the dynamic plays itself out here, and like what's her side of the story versus his. So.
I'm not kidding. He pushed me into like a mother role that I didn't ask for.
So that might be part of it. So she might be expected. That money might be an expectation of her also taking care of the house. I mean, I think there might be a level of validity to that.
Just exhausting, just genuinely exhausting. So out of that 5K, I'll just say like 1,000 of that each month had to go to taxes.
That is how taxes work. Yeah.
I still paid my portion of the rent out of that 5K. So it was like $700 or $800, I think, out of that. Because I was self-employed.
What was her? I'm curious. What was her? How much was it all together?
My health insurance was $400 a month.
That's still pretty cheap. It's ours is. Mine was $400 when I was employed. Where the fuck do you live?
I was paying my car payment, my car insurance. Like when all was said and done.
Sorry, 4,000. Sorry, what did you say? 4,000? Am I missed that?
What, $400 for health insurance?
Sorry.
Right now, you're explaining how bills work, and I don't care. Like, it's like I made $60,000 a year, but I had to pay my taxes and my bills. It's like, okay, cool, I gotcha, great.
Okay, yeah. I misunderstood what I was going to say. All right, so just to be clear, with this money, I understand obviously you didn't get all of it. Did Brad ever at any point sort of like try use it to get you to do stuff? Was he like, oh, well, listen, I'm paying you this, why aren't you going to do X, Y, and Z? How did that sort of happen?
Every day.
I can't even understand what his fucking question is.
Yeah, every day.
Okay. Because I was trying to get from his video, he was...
what did he ask? What the fuck?
I use it to get you to do stuff. Was he like, oh, well, listen, I'm paying you this. Why aren't you going to do X, Y, and Z?
Okay, gotcha. What stuff are we referring to?
How did that sort of happen?
Every day. Yeah, every day.
Okay. Because I was trying to get from his video, he was saying, oh, I gave him $5,000 a month, and she was just a stalker on the couch. So he was using that basically as like a leash on you, so to speak.
Maybe. It doesn't sound like she was doing a whole lot of work every day. I think that's what he was frustrated about. Also seemed like it seems like they may not have explicitly defined exactly what her role was very well either.
Correct. And also, I never smoked.
And also, like, this whole idea that, like, she would be some kind of a producer for him. This is a content creation problem. The problem with having a producer as a content creator is you don't know what the fuck that means. Like, right now, if I had a producer, I would know what their role would be, right? And I wouldn't need them because what are you doing to produce it? I have an editor, and I know what that role is. They go through my videos. They'll make the intros and the thumbnails. Not thumbnails. The intros and the clips, and then I approve it. I do the thumbnails and the titles, and I still do some intros to help them out. And we're getting them to that spot where I'm having them do a certain thing. But the reason I know what I'm talking about is because I did that job myself. And so, like, what do you need a producer for? Oh, I need somebody to budget my taxes. Like, okay. Help me through controversy sometimes. Check in with before I post something. It doesn't really sound like she was doing a whole lot. And so, like, he hired a producer for whatever reason, despite the fact that he didn't need one, just for the sake of it, I guess. I'm really curious as to why he didn't just have her fucking be stay-at-home wife, but it really sounds like he got a huge influx of money. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to hire you so you don't have to work. It sounds well-intentioned. And then it didn't work out as well because they have no idea what the boundaries are,
Weed around him.
And this is the problem is since there was really no actual producer work she needed to do, then she was like, he was like, well, okay, you're not really doing anything all day. Can you clean the house? Can you do this? It sounds like they didn't like explicitly plan out this situation very well in a way that was productive.
When he was clean, because weed made my life hell. Like, when he was on it, it was like, I mean, you heard the audio. Like,
yeah.
When he was on weed, it was like, my life was hell. So I didn't keep weed in the house. I didn't smoke it in front of him for that, like, almost 3 years. So the only time that I was smoking weed and he was paying me $5,000 a month was July and August of last year. That's it.
Why were you doing it in front of his? What is that? Why were you doing it in the house with him?
So the only time that I was smoking weed and he was paying me $5,000 a month was July and August of last year.
In the house?
Smoking weed and he was so.
Is she talking about? Is she referring to in the house? Yeah. So, like, maybe the producer would make thumbnails. These thumbnails are like, and it's fine, but these thumbnails are like 5 minutes a day. So, hey, maybe she made thumbnails for him. These aren't exactly like difficult thumbnails to make. Maybe this one. I have no idea. Maybe some of them are. I don't know. Fuck. These are terrible. Some of these might have take some effort though. These look a little bit higher than the ones that I did or had my ex do. This looks like George Bush, Green Day, and then 2 pictures of Brad, and then some text. This would have taken like 5-10 minutes. Okay, interesting. Gotcha.
Month was July and August of last year. That's it, because he wasn't on weed until July either. So he could say sure that like he was paying me to like be high all day. There's literally only 2 months.
Oh, I see what she's saying. That she was only smoking for like 2 months, so that's not a consistent thing. But that is, I mean, that might have been one of the things. I wonder if that's one of the things that like got it. So it was only 2 months where she was really smoking weed. And so when she's like, well, he would say that like I would smoke weed all day, but it was only 2 months. I understand what she's saying now. That is still, I would say, quite a long enough time for him to be frustrated about it. I guess if he was just smoking weed and chilling all day, doesn't justify his fucking screaming at her about
that happened. And at that point, I was being abused so bad. Like,
I wonder what that looks like. Like, was it? Like, I'm assuming it's like that because that was like one instance. I wonder if there's like other instances and what she could recall and You know,
like, what am I supposed to do? Not smoke some weed? Like, it doesn't.
I don't know. I wonder what does that abuse look like? I'm just curious. I would not doubt it based on the way he yelled at her. But like, what does that look like? Like, is it a consistent thing that he does this and yells at her and does it, which he expressed to some degree? So there's a lot of validity to that. Or was this type of yelling unique? Or we're in the conversation now we have where she's talking. I'm curious about that.
Doesn't affect me the same way it affects him. I'm like,
well, you
I'm
don't go
like
into
being
you were like never the one being the aggressor, as far as I can tell, right? Or
I wouldn't ask her that question. You should be asking her a question like, "Oh, did you ever reciprocate some of that?" What he said. You should try not to ask leading questions, especially in like really tough situations like this. I'm curious about her like raw take, not a filtered take.
literally never. Like, it was
which I don't doubt, by the way. I don't doubt that she didn't abuse him. I'd rather have like a unfiltered one.
Instant de-escalation. I was actually listening to an audio recording that I have from because here's the thing: when you're being gaslit, you feel like it's the craziest feeling in the world. When
true, what is I just hopefully she goes into some examples of like what gaslighting. What does that mean to her? What does the gaslighting mean to her? Or what is an example of him gaslighting her?
this person that is in your bed with you is like accusing you of things that you're not doing and like distrusting you. I have an hour recording from 2021 when he was high and was like interrogating me in my own bed.
Gotcha.
And I listened to like most of it last night, and God, it sucks so much listening to this. Like, but I recorded it for my own protection because
yeah, why is she re-listening to it though? I wonder.
You get so isolated in these situations, and then also there's a level of like embarrassment of like I don't want to like let people know that I'm like letting this person treat me this way.
Sure.
And then also once I was getting paid by him starting in November of 2022. So it was
okay, so she was getting paid this money from November 2022 to last year. So it's about 2 years, I guess, that this was going on for.
Less than 2 years that I worked for him, or that he was paying me.
That's what that would make that would make it that you were working for him, yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh my God. Oh yeah, I was so isolated, and it was like everything in me knew that I had to protect his career. So like it made it so much more stressful when he would like get into drama online, or I'm like I was just in protection mode, just trying to protect him, because if he lost his career, like everything would crumble. My dogs wouldn't be able to eat. I'd lose my house.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
So, it's like at that point.
I think I understand what she's saying is that like he would treat her like shit, but she felt dependent onto him in some capacity, and it created for a frustrating dynamic. Sure, yeah.
He had all of the power in his hands, and he didn't, he didn't like respect that or understand that like by leaving my job to work with him, I mean, I did really hand over the last like bit of power that I had over.
That's fair. It sounds like you're saying that he didn't understand that though in the way you're communicating, and I'm not trying to be rude. Like you can still get another job, and I'm not saying that she should have to, or that justifies any of the ways that he's treating her. But like there, I'm curious because there's like implication there. Was she able to leave? Was she able to leave the relationship? Obviously she couldn't keep the job, but that is just what it is. But was she able to leave the relationship, or was there like a threat of force if she tried to leave?
Over him, and it was just, yeah, and it just got so much worse. And then it was basically like the expectation that I would just make his life perfect. Like he pays me $5,000 and then I just fix everything for him. And I mean, that's not fair to do to a person. So
I guess, how often was he getting in controversy? Because one of the things too is it sounds like this Ethan thing put like a huge like dampen the relationship a bunch too. I hope that it's asked like, I want to know about specifically the Ethan Klein situation where that was like, how did that affect everything? Were things okay or stable before that, and it just got like really much worse, or how did that happen? Because I can understand as a content creator dealing with a big controversy and that having a stressor on the relationship. For me that was like kind of the final straw as to why my ex and I broke up, because I had just lost my TikTok and she didn't care. And so that frustrated me because I was like, this is how I pay for things. Like, what the hell? And she just was not interested. She didn't care. She didn't want to hear me complain about it at all. And I was like, well, fuck, like, this is a huge deal. You know, you don't do anything. It's my pay the bills. And I just lost my fucking platform. You know, so I wonder how much, you know, how connected was she really to that? I'm just curious about that and how that interaction would go.
Like, no amount of money. I'm just so, like, you could not pay me.
He got in small, meaningless beefs about music, but the Klein thing was when he started. Okay, how often did he get in beefs? Do you know?
$100,000 to experience money. I'm just so, like, you could not pay me $100,000 to experience another year of what I went through.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so, like, if I paid you $5,000 a month because, like, you fixed my life, would that be, like, doable?
Yeah, no, like, I just would never. I first, like, this situation traumatized me so much that I would just never put myself in that spot again. You know,
All right,
but,
well, fine.
yeah,
You drive a hard bargain.
Like, no, like, what I'm saying is no amount of money it makes up for, like, the way I was treated, you know?
Also, you say, so there was he never hit you. Just to be clear, because, also, another question. In that video...
I wish he would have asked, did he ever hit you? And then I would like to follow up to be like, did you ever feel, was there ever a moment where you felt like he might hit you or commit some kind of violence onto you? These are the type of I would prefer questions like that.
Or the dogs reacting, by the way, to, like, Brad? They're just, as he's, like, in your face.
They were terrified. Okay. They were so terrified. They're here with me right now, actually. I have them, but they were terrified. They were so scared, and I've actually noticed, like, there's been times where, like, if someone gets loud, like, even now, like, almost a year later, like, if someone gets loud, there's a loud noise, or, like, kind of just any emotional, like, tension, I notice that they're fearful. It makes me really sad. So that's why it's just, like, really important that I have, like, a peaceful environment for them now.
Sure.
And so you said there was never any, like, he never hit you, but you were saying, like, punch balls. He ever, like, throw stuff at you, just as a vague idea of where, like, the limits of what he was doing were.
He never threw things at me. It was, so he broke a door in our first apartment. He punched a hole in a bathroom door at our second apartment. That's the apartment that, like, that audio was recorded in and everything. And I remember thinking after he punched the hole in the door, this is crazy in retrospect, but, like, I immediately was thinking, what am I going to say to the maintenance people about how this hole got in the door? What am I going to say to my friends that are coming over about how this hole got in the door? Because I just immediately knew that I wasn't going to tell the truth about how it got there.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I wonder what her, like, interaction was. Was it something that scared her still? Was it something that became, like, almost normalized in her household? Like, what are the reasons why he did it? It doesn't justify punching holes in doors, you know, but, like, why did he do it is a question I'm curious about, things like that.
And it just kind of, like, in retrospect makes me really sad because it just kind of shows, like, how much I felt like I had no choice but to try to protect him from, you know, I guess the consequences of his own actions. Like, he would abuse me, do something crazy, like break a door, and then, you know, I would be the one that would have to, once again, clean it up. I had to make the maintenance request to get a door replaced because he wouldn't do that. So
I really am curious about what's I've been in situations where, like, I've gotten, like, frustrated. Like, I remember one time I punched a hole in a bathroom door because my ex was in there, and then it's like, wow, that's fucked up. And it was. I never should have done that. But the reason I did that was because I remember knocking on the door and be like, hey, I have to shit. I had a shit. And she was in the shower. And she's like, okay, well, let me finish my shower. She wouldn't let me poop when she was in the bathroom. And so I think, like, a couple minutes, and I had a shit bad. And I was like, I really need to take a shit. I really need to go. I really need to go to the bathroom. Actually, I think I was fucking bowed in this. Where the fuck was I supposed to do shit in my pants? And so she just wouldn't open the door. I was like, I really have to go. I'm gonna shit my pants, and she wouldn't open the door. So I started slamming on the door so hard I put a hole in it because I was gonna shit in my pants, and, like, that's scary. But, like, and that is actually, that's, like, the only time I think, like, that's kind of valid. What the fuck else was I supposed to do? And she's finally opened the door. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to shit. Like, this took, like, 5 minutes to open, and I had to poop really bad. So, like, you know, I'm wondering, like, what happened that he did that. It doesn't make what his response is of breaking down doors justifiable. But I want to know what prompted it. Was he just having fun hitting doors? Were you guys arguing about something? What were you guys arguing about? I'm curious about what it is. Because, like, you know, I would find historically, because I haven't had like an inappropriate expression of anger in years. But that like the anger existing is justifiable. The expression of anger is not. It's disproportionate and it's wrong. And in my instance, a lot of it boiled down to like, you know, instead of expressing myself productively and being like, hey, I'm frustrated by this, I would just bottle it all up, you know. So I'm wondering what happened? Why did it start?
Yeah, the fucked.
Okay. So, and also, so you started recording basically as like an understanding to yourself of what's going on, so you could like share it with like other people. First, I took it up, but not like a lot of people, just like 3 people. When did
like
you start doing that?
therapist.
Just to be clear, like how long? Apparently, you have like 70 recordings. Someone in chat said, or so
No,
how?
yeah, no. So that's just because, you know, in voice memos, like on iPhones, when you do a new recording, it'll just be like new recording 5, new recording 6, like I never named
Okay,
them because
okay.
I never revisited them because they were just like awful. Like when things were good with him, I just was like, all right, like maybe it's gonna be different this time. You know, I wouldn't revisit those audios. So there's not 70 recordings of like emotional abuse. It's probably closer to like 10, with the earliest being.
Is she saying that she started getting into a habit of recording stuff when she thought it was going to escalate? Okay.
December of 2020. Yeah.
December 2020. That's
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I guess you tried patching it up, and
I'm kind of like almost curious about like all these recordings now. Like, what did they look like? What did the fights happen because of? Like, that's something I really need to hear.
etc. Over that period of time.
Yep.
Okay.
There's some from 2021, and then when he was off of weed, I don't think I have any recordings from that time because he wasn't quite as delusional. Or if he was having a moment where like he was kind of having delusions, I was able to, you know, it just never escalated to that point.
You said you shared
and
the
then,
video with his mom. How did like they
the
react to this? I
audio.
guess, or the audio, yeah, the audio
She,
recording.
yeah, she just was like, I'll say, so after that loud screaming audio, you know, I run into the office, close and lock the door, and it's crazy hearing people say like that I'm fake crying into the phone. Like,
I wonder. I want to know how many. This I just really wish we get some of these questions in there. I wonder like how unique was this explosion? Like, is this one of those 10 times, or was this like particularly bad? What was the general reaction and what he would add? There's a lot of questions that I just feel like aren't explicitly answered enough, like in this conversation. Like, what happened? Like, what led up to the point that he would do something? You know, I'm like, he would break something or he'd be destructive. Like, was he playing a video game and he got angry at the video game or something? Like, what is it that was going on?
I was scared for my fucking life. That was the most real, like, guttural sobbing that I've like, you know, nothing fake about that, but whatever. Fuck anyone that says that was fake.
Yeah, that looked real to me, or looked real. When I'm saying it sounded real to me. Who was questioning the validity of her fucking crying?
But I immediately sent it to his mom and my mom first, because it was kind of like
yeah, I would also want to know like how, like, is this something you would typically do after there's a big problem? Like, what was different about this one? You know,
plea for help. It's like, this is what's going on here. Like, I can't do this anymore. Someone help me. I need someone to like swoop in and get me out of here.
Sure.
His mom was like,
when did she call the cops?
Very nonchalant about it, and was like, "Oh, he can't be talking to you like that." Like, blah blah blah.
It doesn't sound nonchalant. Okay.
My mom immediately came and picked me up and brought me to her house, where I actually am right now.
Okay.
But I'm actually here. She just had surgery, and then I drove from Detroit to help her recover from her surgery. But yeah, and that was it. And then I just talked to friends on the phone that night and was just like, yeah, it's really, really, really bad.
Is that what ended their relationship?
I think I shared it with maybe 1 or 2 of like my closest friends, and once again, nobody at Hive Mind. Yeah, that it wasn't like the purpose of sharing it was like,
Oh, maybe she means Antonia. I guess so.
really just coming from a plea for help. Like, it's really just like, I reached a breaking point. I can't do this anymore. I need people to know what's going on. Yeah.
All right, okay. And also, by the way, as far as I understand, you had access to a second channel, and so you like made a post on that linking to the audio, or is that what I heard from the Liam Donovan stream, that somebody like hacked his channel or something, or had access?
Well, that's another question I would like you to ask. Is like, what? I wish there's one. I wish. I wish this interview was better. I wish there were questions being asked instead of assertions being made. Like, I'd like to know, like, what prompted you to release this 10-minute audio? Like, what is this? What I would really like to know. And I just because we may know the answer doesn't mean it's not a good question to ask. We're trying to get her side of the story and her perspective and an understanding of like what's going on in her head.
To his channel?
I haven't had access to any of his stuff since last year. My understanding was that there were a couple of mods that still had
Okay, it was
like
moderator.
moderator permissions on his
like
channel.
Community moderator. All right.
Yeah.
So you didn't have anything
They
to
have
do with
the
that, to be
ability-
clear.
Why is he giving him mods? Fucking what the fuck?
No, they have the ability to private videos, upload videos, and make community posts.
Well, why? What the fuck? What is Brad's other channel? What he would need any of this? I'm just trying to like understand why he would need moderators to be able to upload videos on his other channel. I don't know. He does. That just seems so fucking weirdly lazy. He does seem like a very lazy person. Like, why wouldn't you just do that yourself?
And so, I mean, these are all people that have also been hurt and manipulated by him. And you know, it's obviously different when you're not like in a romantic relationship with the person, but the reality is like he mistreated pretty much everybody in his life or anyone that ever cared about him. So
like, what did that look like? Like, what does it look like to mistreat somebody is my question.
I think that, yeah, people made, I made it clear that
It's
when
not really her fault for not explaining it. It's his fault for not asking these questions.
the audio came out, I was like,
I want to know what these things mean.
whatever, wherever, I knew that
I
like,
want to know what like the proportionality of the abuse is and how targeted and intentional that it was. Like, was he trying to be abusive or was he just like mismanaging his emotions in like a really toxic, horrible way? These things to me are important to get a read on like what's going on and how potentially, like, is he redeemable in her eyes based on these things, or even in my eyes based on the context?
like I was opening Pandora's box basically, and like wherever it ended up, it ended up. I never wanted to release it. Obviously, it seems like people understand why I did, because every time Brad uploaded
I believe that. I don't think that she ever wanted to release it.
a video, like the SI video or the my statement or whatever, it would completely derail my life for like multiple days.
That makes
Where
sense.
like suddenly, you know, it just. I'm
Is
trying
it
to
just
just live my life.
reminded you, or is it just because people were like messaging you? What was it about it though?
All of that reminded.
Well, it also might have frustrated her just on the surface that like he would be saying something that she didn't feel was accurate, which doesn't seem to be accurate, by the way. It wasn't what he was saying, you know, it doesn't seem to be accurate.
Made me upset. People were constantly messaging me, and then there's that feeling of like injustice that comes from like I'm sitting here like not telling. I'm just keeping my mouth shut to protect you, and this is how you're like treating me. Like, and it got to a point where I'm like, obviously he's not protecting me and my feelings at all. Like, why? You know, why?
I wonder if she would have come out with the audio in the future at some point.
Sure, though. Are you sure that you're not dating like a friend of Hive Mind just to get back at him? Because I saw the channel. It wasn't very funny. It wasn't very funny. So I can't imagine that there's any other reason you would do that.
That's really funny. Yeah, no. No, I'm dating my friend. Like the thing is with Hive Mind, oh
sorry, she dating someone in Hive Mind?
So I can't imagine that there's any other reason you would do that.
That's really funny. Yeah, no. No,
Did I miss the question? Okay, now I understand the question. It's difficult to hear what he's saying.
You know,
are you sure though? Are you sure that you're not dating like a friend of Hive Mind just to get back at him? Because I saw the channel. It wasn't very funny. It wasn't very funny. So I can't imagine that there's any other reason you would do that. Is
she dating the Hive Mind person, or is she just being cheeky?
That's really funny. Yeah, no. No, I'm dating my friend. Like the thing is with Hive Mind, they're my friends, and not just the people on the channel, but just like there's a whole friend group there that became my
Is she dating somebody in Hivemind? That's a real question.
support system. Those are the people that helped me get out of the.
She is. That's interesting. That brings up like a different conversation there. The only it's okay. All right. I mean, what? All right, that's fine. It brings up like, okay, so like when did you realize you wanted to date them? I mean, you were dating Brad and you were hanging out with this guy that at the same time that you wanted to date. Like, was there something there? Is there an introduction of something there? Like, what's going on with that?
Abuse situation. That's my support system. They're like a little family that I kind of stumbled into, and they're wonderful. And so, yeah, of course, after like moving there and just trying to live my life, I started dating someone.
Okay.
He's not a public figure at all. He's got like 200 followers on Instagram. You know, it's not.
So she's not dating it? I'm a little confused. What?
It not out of spite. I love him. We're still dating. I love him. Like, he's one of the best people I've ever met in my life. So, yeah, it has nothing to do.
Isn't Hivemind a content channel? I thought you said that she was dating somebody from Hivemind. Who is this that we're talking about?
With Brad, you know, nothing at all to do with him. I'm just living my life.
By the way, other than the video, did Brad ever like try reaching out to you or whatever? Was that like relate any at all something he did behind scenes along with the release of the video, or say like not contact you? Just, I guess you don't have to say, but just out of curiosity.
Yeah, no, he did reach out to me many times over the months, actually asking for me back. He would flip flop between like being really apologetic and sorry for what he put me through, and then being upset with me. And actually, it's pretty evident in the videos that he recently uploaded, right, where he's like trashing me, and then he's like, "I'm so sorry. This person is like a human being," and you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he seems incredibly unstable. Sure.
And then back to trashing me. It's like he doesn't even know. Like, the last thing he sent me, it was after we went no contact.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of person who's completely emotionally unstable and needs like a legitimate fucking psychiatrist or something, and a regular therapist, everything.
Friday, August 1st. That's just like a few days ago. Part of the message he sent me was, "Look, I really want to say, if you want to talk to me, just call me or text me. I don't need you to solve anything anymore. I honestly don't believe that fully says it. I honestly believe I could give you a comfortable and quiet life. It might not be now, it might not even be in the next 15 years, but you're one of those people who I will never give up on. If someday you ever think things aren't what they're supposed to be and you think about me, just hit me up. I will pick up." That's the last thing he sent me on August 1st.
Oh man.
That's the last thing he sent me. I never replied to it because I was just done with the flip flopping, the abuse and then the apology, and the abuse and the apology. You know,
I don't doubt that happened. I really just wish we could get a fucking, you know, I wish we had an interview who would ask her what these look like and ask her. Well, I mean, we have another hour left, but that's something. I mean, maybe it's just an unorganized, more chaotic conversation. So, but I really want to know what that looks like. We have one instance where they have like a fight. I really want to know what like this pattern of abuse looks like and like what's going on. What are like what is the reason that it's happening? Why is he getting angry? Like, you know,
obviously I'm a year out almost from the arrest. Like, I'm so done with it. I never replied to that, but the last thing that he had sent me was that, like, essentially asking for me back.
And then he made, and I guess, you know, responded. He makes the video and also the freestyle rap where he calls you a bitch and whatever.
Yes, and a man.
Is that common? Is he like, does he often rap? Is he a good rapper, would you say?
He's not.
That's a riveting question. Thank you. We can't get a question about, like, you know, we can't get in-depth questions about their relationship, but we can definitely get a question about if he's good at rapping. Incredible. I love it.
No, he's not a good rapper.
No shit. We already saw.
But he often did, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, he did that often, though. It was always just bullshit, like stream of consciousness, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think that's all the...
Did you actually think it was bullshit in the moment when he would do that stuff? Like, outside of... I just... So, you know, just to be clear, you know, it's... I'm not justifying his shitty behavior, but if you think he sucks at rapping and music, that might not... You know, doesn't sound very supportive of a partner. And, like, it kind of, you know, validates the... I really just say that they were not very good together. I just wonder what day-to-day interactions were like for them.
the questions I had about the... Oh, and so you said that you're going to go forward like with like a more official statement once you had it shown to you like your therapist and lawyer. Are you still going forward with that?
Yeah, so now, I mean, because of how he handled things, I just kind of, like I said, I opened Pandora's box. I just was like, fuck it. I'm like, he really like backed me into a corner, and I really have no desire to protect him anymore. So no, I did talk to my therapist, like literally my therapist appointment on Wednesday.
It's interesting because, like, I remember Brad said something like her releasing all this is actually good. Like, I think it's her trying to help me. I think actually listening to this conversation after she had just told us that he reached out to her somewhat recently and was like, "I'll always be here." The basic sentiment being, "I will always be here when you're ready to date me." Like, this guy is deeply fucking unhinged, because he expressed something in one of his videos about how he thinks that she released the audio as a way to help him, so that there was nothing looming over his head, and he expressed that she had this intentionality to actually help him, and it is very like delusional. It's almost scary.
We screen shared and watched his statement video, and then we listened to the 2 audio recordings that were released to the public together, and talked through it and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been like working with my therapist on all of this, but I just have no desire to protect him anymore, and stuff like audio recordings that were released to the public together. And then we listened to
Who's we?
screen shared and watched his statement video, and then we listened to the 2 audio recordings that were released to the public together, and talked.
Who's she referring to?
Literally my therapist appointment on Wednesday.
You talked to you guys. Is that normal in a therapist appointment to talk about this stuff? Maybe I don't know. That seems strange, but I could just be stupid.
I just have no desire to protect him anymore.
I might just be fucking dumb, so don't mind me. It just seems strange to me, but that also could just be because I'm a stupid fat fuck.
Like, yeah, no,
Okay.
he
I gotta put you in a timeout for that, plus. Jesus Christ.
literally like destroyed me as a person. So
Uh-huh.
I have no desire to like.
What are your thoughts on, other than Brad, what are your thoughts on Rose Malay?
I really have no doubts that like he destroyed her. I don't doubt that. I have a problem because I don't know what that looks like. I would really wish we had better questions to really know what's going on.
Because you seem to be very negative towards her when she was brought up one time in chat.
Yeah, I just don't really.
Also, not for nothing, but I feel like, I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding the situation. I feel like quoting like Rose Malay. I understand that this is YouTube drama, but like, do we have to look at it through a YouTube lens? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this seems like, let's stay on point here.
Give a fuck about her, honestly. Like, I've known of her since I started dating Brad in 2019, because they were friends for a little bit, and
They
then like
seem
had a
to
falling
like
out.
still be in contact, and that's where like the freestyle video came out. I don't know if she was. I mean, she's usually not relevant at all. I was just curious if there was any particular points about her
You talking about her is making her relevant.
that came up.
She would just like kind of rear her head like when Brad was in any sort of controversy. It just seemed like she would kind of latch onto it. Even talking about her right now, in my opinion, is giving her too much energy. So
That's true.
There you go. I mean,
so she plagiarized me, right? She plagiarized my video about Liam Donovan. She's evil.
I think this girl Tina has like a lot to say in her story that is probably really, productive and could really give us an insight into her life and Brad's life, and like an understanding of like what's going on, and probably a little bit more of an intelligent way. But unfortunately, we're just expressing our frustrations with irrelevant content creators to somebody who's trying to sit here and express that they've gone through a pattern of abuse with an ex-partner. It's not. Like, what are you doing, honestly?
She's evil. You should.
Yeah, it says. It says a lot.
Yeah, I just said I don't really want to talk about her, and you're just keeping it going.
About Brad that like he he had nobody else in certain moments, and then would reach out to her. And I don't know why he ever trusted her with any information.
To
But
this very day. To this very day. What about Liam Donovan? Any thoughts on him?
Who? Thoughts on who? Liam Donovan? Who the fuck is that? It's just another content creator. Who the fuck is this?
I literally don't even know who that is.
You don't know who that? Why? I thought you were in his chat. What the hell?
Why? Why would you, dude? I might have to check out of this video. This is pathetic.
I have no idea who Liam Donovan is, honestly.
All right, well that's fine. You know, it's
How about we get back to her and like her the reasons that she's here is to like finally be able to like publicly speak about what Brad hasn't shut the fuck up about for the past fucking month.
people feel this way, but it's not relevant. It's not relevant. He's just
Great, love the interview. Holy shit.
sort of like taken Brad's audience from him. I didn't know if you were excited for that or not, because Brad's sort of gimmick was like reacting to music. Yeah. Okay.
What? Is it lyrics? What the fuck is happening here? I don't even want to know that. Why is this lyrics? What the fuck is happening? Lyrics? Well, good for him. I guess he's doing well. What the fuck? You know what? I don't truly never hated this guy. Don't give a fuck about him and his career right now. We're supposed to be having a conversation about a fucking abuse. What are we doing?
Brad's sort of gimmick was like reacting to music. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I love that. I mean,
cool.
Yeah, more power to him. Love that. He should. I hope that he does well with that.
Jesus Christ.
And so let me see. For the are you worried about any legal stuff about this, by the way? Because you said you were going to talk to a lawyer. Is there? I don't see how there could be legal issues or.
I mean, so at this point, because I really had to think about it before any like audio was released. I know that it was recorded in a one-party consent state. And from what I've seen, it's okay. You know, like there's no issue with when you record something and it's a one-party consent state. You can do whatever you want with that recording.
Cool.
I'm not making money off of it. You know what I mean? It's just, and I think if you looked at the timeline of events and like his videos, it's very clear that like I was being accused of crimes, literally blackmail. You know what I mean? Like I was being like defamed. Not that I have like a platform, but you know, it's like defamatory stuff. It's slanderous, and so like I feel like if it ever came to a court, I don't believe that would get anywhere. Truly, so.
What Pokemon are you? Like, what's your What?
Okay. I understand she has a Pokemon PFP. What the fuck does that matter?
What type of Pokemon are you?
What Pokemon is that? Oshawott.
Yeah. It's like a water ice type. Are there ice types in Pokemon?
No, he's just water. He's just a little otter, water type starter. He evolves into Samurott.
Are you sure fibromyalgia is real? Because you know a lot of people say it's just like a made up disease.
Don't you fucking start. Don't you fucking start.
I bring it up because obviously people are going to say you're using it as an excuse for yada yada. No.
I mean, I kind of.
Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's a fake or disorder? Is that what you're implying? Like,
really fuck anyone that says that. Look at research. I mean, it shows up on MRIs. It's not fake.
Does it show? I don't. That might be true. I don't know. I think it's real. I just never heard that it shows up on MRIs. So the answer to that is no. I don't know why she said that. I don't think she's lying, but it says it doesn't typically. Maybe it could. Some studies have suggested that certain changes in brain activity or connectivity may be associated with it. I don't know why she would say that though. That doesn't seem to be a fact. Okay, great. Okay.
I developed it in 2018 while I was in school to be a medical assistant, and
that makes sense to me.
It's I got diagnosed. I had a bunch of tests done.
It's very tough to get diagnosed with that as well. That's one of the problems. So
a bunch of diagnostic tests. Went to a rheumatologist, and he said, "This is textbook case of fibromyalgia. And you are going to be in some level of pain every day for the rest of your life." That is what I was told by the doctor.
Yeah, fortunately, there are some lifestyle things you could do that you try to engage in, like reduction. I think it manifests in like different types of inflammation. But
if it's diagnosed, that's fair enough. I just want some people like
Yeah.
they
Okay.
or see people say people make it up, but then if you're saying you go down there, it's. But I was just curious.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
They
Some people like hey,
or see people say people make it up, but then if you're saying you go down there,
I don't understand what he's saying.
but I was just curious because people probably would say
Yeah,
that.
no, it was diagnosed, and it's been a huge part of my life and what I've had to deal with. I mean, I've like truly every day I am in pain, and if I'm under stress of some sort, or for
Makes it
various
worse, sure.
reasons, I can just be thrown into a flare where I'm literally. I mean, right now, all of this stuff is very emotional for me to talk about. I'm sitting in a bed with a heating pad on my back because I'm like in so much pain right now. So, and I'm not even on. I'm not even on weed anymore. I haven't.
You know House MD?
What?
You know House MD? You know the show House
Yes,
MD?
house.
House MD, great. Do you know House MD? Do you know the show House?
That's a great
You're
show.
kind of like
yeah.
you're kind of like House when you think about it, because like he's in pain.
Great, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but I'm not popping pills.
Oh,
Okay. Is he trying to be funny? Is he trying to fuck her? I don't understand what's happening. Is he just what is this?
There's that. I hate opioids actually. But yeah.
right. I was just curious
chronic
about
pain
the
fucking
fibrosis
sucks.
thing. That's fair enough. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear. Obviously, it's unfortunate. So
Oh, are you the interviewers in the chat, bro? This interview is tough to listen to. It's tough to listen to. It's not just your mic. It's just the questions are fucking terrible. It's fucking insane. I can't believe you asked somebody who's here talking about her abusive relationship with Brad taste in music, and you're asking her if she's House MD, what her Pokemon is, and about YouTube drama about Rose Malay and Lyrics, who is now Ray Donovan or whatever the fuck his name is. It's in the first third of it, by the way, is no real conversation about what the abuse
Calm him down.
typically looked like. No conversation trying to like explore the depth of it, how consistent the abuse is, what anything. But we definitely know a Pokemon that is, so that's good. All right.
to hear. Obviously, it's unfortunate. It definitely doesn't help the situation, that's for sure. Well,
Who's Rose Malay?
anyway, Tina.
No.
Since you're here,
Okay. Is there like more productive stuff that we ask her, or is the next hour just yapping about YouTube drama or something?
Yeah.
the reason I asked to talk to you about this because obviously, like, there's this. I mean, you know who he is. yeah. There's this loser freak. Destiny, how much do you know about him? How much do you know about him?
We're done with this interview. I don't like Destiny. I think he's a fucking loser, piece of dog shit, just to be clear. I saw that he was very skeptical of her. I think it's comes from the fact that he has no idea how to maintain any productive relationship, even with really seemingly anybody around him, and he seems to be projecting himself onto it in some way. For sure. But I have no interest in doing like YouTube drama. Like I love YouTube drama, but this is like just getting so terminally online. I think we're disengaging here unless there's something else. Like, do we get it? I care about her relationship and wanting to understand what's happening here. I don't give a fuck about Destiny. I don't give a fuck about Rose Malay. I don't give a fuck about Lyrics. I don't give a fuck about any of these other people. I don't think that they're good questions or productive questions. I don't think that they make you stand out. This is, what are we doing? I want to know about her and her abusive relationship, and to like see how this manifested and her relationship with it. That's the conversation. Not. All right, well, that's it for me. Just so you guys know, I'm actually going to be talking to the victims of Bill Cosby soon, and we're going to have a nice chat. I guess about fucking Dr. Mike Israetel's comments about Hitler. What are we doing? I don't know. Okay.